put this one? You know, so what we're saying is that it has come to where we have progressively built on that falsehood, false narratives everywhere. And this is where we've arrived, telling ourselves lies and knowing that those things are lies, including the preamble to our constitution. And so what do? We have now to accept that unitarianism will not work for a country of Nigeria's diversity. We have to look in the direction of South Africa and what it did with apartheid. And if you want to know why we talk about apartheid, what we have in Nigeria is far worse than apartheid, in the situation where we have a master-servant union imposed on all of us by the Fulani with the aid of the British. I have seen documents that predate 1914. And in the coming days, in fact, in less than 10 days, they will be in the public space because we wanted to keep it to where more people will be willing to understand the weight of it. Otherwise, if those things were released earlier than now, the whole place would collapse on us at the time the people had not been told what was happening to them. But more people are awake now. And so the British set up this union to fail because it was a criminal enterprise. They were clear-minded in what they wanted to do. And they implanted the people who were going to do their bidding to take charge of the union on their behalf. And so all our constitutions from beginning to now have been designed to service the objectives of that joint venture between Britain and the Sokoto Caliphate. If anybody doesn't understand that, I'm afraid that person may have to learn the hard way. Now, there's a preliminary objection. If the only challenge was how to rebuild our country, I tell you, we can get at it in 6 months, we can get done with it. But you know what? That is not the challenge now. We don't have any country. We don't have any union. The agreements that brought us together have been abandoned. The union have been hijacked, first by the federal government, but we later found out that there was the Fulani at the rear. Gowon and Co were just tools used to drive it to where they now seized it after imposing a constitution that tied everybody's hands to the back. Now, what do we do with Sharia? Because the adherents of Sharia owe it a duty of faith to kill the infidel. Anybody we're talking about a clash of civilizations here. The same people who are doing Sharia are also feudalists. In their worldview, there's only the master and the slave. The democracy you and I seek to build is offensive to them because the master cannot be governed by the servant, by the slave. That was what consumed Abiola. That was what consumed Jonathan's presidency. And they're telling us to our faces that they are born to rule us. When you mix the two up, you will see that if we don't find an answer to the question of Sharia, they owe it a duty of faith to kill the infidel. And the rest of us are those infidels in their eyes. If you do not find an answer to feudalism, where they believe that they are born to rule the rest, between the two, we are constantly in the danger of death. Because as we insist on democracy, they will bring me more measures to make sure we don't speak, to brutalize us to submission. And now the one of Sharia, they owe it a duty to take us out of the way, compel everybody to come with them. If anybody wants to argue about that, that person can go arguing. I will not be, whatever it will take, I will not be in any union that has 1 square inch governed by Sharia. That is the preliminary objection now to going into the question of what do we do to rebuild our country. Unless we accept that this is the case, and we take that constitution that has our signature as the authorization, it says we the people. It means we the Ijaw, we the Yoruba, we the Tiv,